What if gravity reversed for 10 seconds? It began at 2:07 p.m. without warning, without explanation. For 10 seconds, gravity on Earth reversed. Not reduced, not nullified, fully, absolutely reversed. At first, it was imperceptible. A child playing with a yo-yo in Tokyo noticed it first as the string suddenly arced upward instead of down. The yo-yo shot into the sky, followed quickly by the stunned child. In New York, a barista dropped a spoon. It didn't clatter to the floor, but instead soared upward, slamming into a light fixture. By the time anyone had time to register what was happening, the world was already lifting. People in open areas, parks, streets, playgrounds were the first to rise. Entire crowds drifted off sidewalks, flailing in disbelief. Picnic blankets, sandwiches, bicycles, dogs, everything not bolted down left the earth. Birds, caught in mid-flight, tumbled upward in confusion, wings flapping uselessly. Water spilled upward from fountains like reversed rain, droplets hanging and spinning in the air. Inside buildings, the effects were equally surreal. Ceiling tiles cracked as people slammed into them. Chairs and desks floated into fluorescent lights. Elevators became vertical death traps, their occupants crushed briefly against the ceilings. Those inside cars experienced whiplash as their bodies slammed against roofs, glass breaking, airbags deploying in reverse as coins, phones, and drinks flew upward. In space, satellites observed the Earth's atmosphere ripple. The sudden shift caused waves of air to peel upward like smoke in reverse. Clouds distorted. Weather patterns stuttered. Storms disassembled themselves mid-spin as if the sky were inhaling them. Then came the planes. Thousands of commercial and cargo flights were midair when gravity reversed. Some were torn apart instantly, metal sheared by the opposing forces of engines pulling forward while everything else went up. Pilots screamed over radios as flight paths disintegrated. Some planes, closer to the ground, simply exploded when fuel tanks and engines ripped from their mounts, and then it stopped. Exactly 10 seconds after it began, gravity snapped back to normal. Everything and everyone plummeted. Those who had floated only a few feet were fortunate. They landed hard, with bruises and broken bones. But many weren't so lucky. People fell from rooftops, out of trees, from stories high in the air. Collapsed structures buried those who had slammed into ceilings moments earlier. Objects that had hovered harmlessly became deadly as they crashed back to Earth. Lampposts, steel beams, debris, entire vehicles. The world was bruised, shattered, and gasping. Emergency services were overwhelmed. Hospitals flooded with the injured. News anchors with black eyes and bloody noses tried to piece together what had happened, their microphones duct taped to broken stands. Social media was a storm of footage, floating toddlers, terrified screams, surreal rain of humans and animals from the sky. Scientists were baffled. Theories abounded: a glitch in Earth's magnetic field, a rogue gravitational wave, a dark matter anomaly. None made sense. Nothing in physics allowed for gravity to simply reverse. But somehow for 10 seconds it had. Religions responded with zeal and fear. Some saw it as judgment, others a warning. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was a weapon test gone wrong, pointing to satellite blackouts and sudden anomalies in space-based sensors. The United Nations called an emergency session. No answers came. What lingered wasn't just the destruction, but the memory. People now looked at the ground differently. What had once been secure felt fragile. Offices replaced ceiling tiles with reinforced plates. Helmets became a daily accessory. Children were taught to duck and hold onto furniture, not for earthquakes, but for skyquakes. Cities developed gravity shelters, underground rooms with padded ceilings and magnetic locks, but something else had changed too. The experience had been humbling. For 10 seconds, the world had lost its anchor. Up had become down. Certainty had vanished. And in the silence that followed, people remembered how delicate everything truly was. Gravity, so constant, so invisible, was no longer taken for granted. Some tried to move on, to pretend it was over, that it was just a freak incident. But others watched the skies nervously, wondering, what if it happened again? What if next time it lasted longer than 10 seconds? What if next time gravity never came back?